All right, so I'm going to pause here because I really want to get to talk about organizers. And I want the organizers, at least for you to know how to get to the organizers. And we'll spend at least the last 10 minutes here. We'll expand the session a few minutes so that we can see where to go to manipulate organizers and how that looks like. So Katie, if you could take it away, give us a brief overview, and then that way we can know how to integrate that into our pipeline, and we'll start building that out tomorrow. And I think you're on mute, by the way.
I'm going to share my screen.
And by the way, you will see some polls that will pop up on the screen, just polling about, hopefully we're answering your questions, you're learning, give us some feedback. There also will be a survey at the end. So that's what's going to pop up for you. And somebody asked, will organizers be covered? Yes, that's what we're going to cover just now. So take it away.
All right. So if you go into the firm templates, you can click on organizers. You can see all the organizers that you have in your personal library. You can copy them from the library. You can also go to Marketplace and purchase them. Some are free, some are at cost. Today, we're going to go do a quick review of our personal information organizer. So you go into the organizer and you can review all of the questions you're asking. Each section that you create can have different questions. It will also show up as different sections for the clients to review. If you see impacts, it means that there is going to be questions that this one is going to impact. If a client puts single, that means that they're not going to have to answer this spouse name question. If they select married or domestic relationship, they will have to answer this spouse name question. That is the condition on this question, is that it is conditional on the civil status question. You're also able to sync to your CRM through here. We'll show you both ways. So I've got my social security number set to sync to the CRM. You can go ahead and choose what field you want, or you can create a custom field. And these are going to be just for the contact information. I'm going to go ahead and click.
Well, while you're moving to the next section, somebody asked about uploading your own tax organizer. Pretty much that's what we're showing you. You can create your own organizer, right? From wherever you had it before. You're going to create your own questions, or maybe manipulate some of the templates that we already have. So this is the beauty of the template section in the for organizers. You can set up your questions exactly how you need them, and pretty much copy them over how you had them in your previous section, right? In your previous provider for forms. So just FYI on that.
To view an organizer when a client has finished, you will get a notification in your inbox if you have that selected to receive a notification. You will be able to go into your organizer section for that specific client, and you'll be able to review what they have put in here. As you can see, I've already set to sync the birth date and the social security number, but you can also go to sync more options or more sections. So I can go ahead and resync the first name if I feel that I need to, if somehow they changed their first name, or if they changed their last name, if they got married, you go through and change their last name. You can update their address. You can, if you have their address just in one field, so that is street address, city, the state or province, and the zip code all in one field, it will not allow you to sync it. They have to be in their separate fields, because that is the way it is formatted in the actual contact for each client. Let's go ahead and sync a few of these. Now you can sync anything that has a text or number input. If it has a drop down or any other buttons, basically if it is a multiple choice question, you're not going to be able to sync that information. So let's go ahead and click sync. Oh, sorry. You're gonna have to actually select
the contact, right, that it belongs to.
Yep. Sorry about that. So we're gonna go ahead and go to the contact. Now, if there were 2 contacts on the page on your set with your account, you would have to choose which contact it is connected to. Let me go ahead and click sync now. If you sync empty answers, it will wipe out anything that you already had on those
in those
fields,
sections. Yeah.
In those fields, yeah. So right now we're going to go ahead and sync 8 fields. And if I go to info and I go to my contact here, it's going to show you all of the fields that were set to sync with all of the information that was provided in their organizer. I know someone asked earlier, clients cannot update their own information. However, you can set organizers to be self-service, which means a client will be able to select an organizer to fill out when they feel like it. You can set one up to be information update that they would be able to fill out, and you would be able to have that sync with their CRM. And that is one way that they can update their own information. You'd have to review it to make sure that it syncs to the correct fields. But that is one way that you'd be able to get the correct information without them filling the information out themselves and possibly messing up their CRM for information if they had to do it some other way. If you don't choose to sync, then the information will just be in the organizer and it will not change in the client contact information. But you'll be able to review and see that what the information is, but it will not let you know that the information is different than the client contact information.
Great. Thank you for all of those details. And I want to add to that, if you can go to the templates again, just want to add that autofill option. Okay, so if your client, for example, this form here called personal information, this exact template, you send this over and over year by year, it's the same one. All you do is update some information like add questions or remove questions. As long as you send this same template, your clients will have the smart feature which says, hey, you already filled this out last year. Do you want to autofill it? And if they say yes, it'll autofill the whole form for them, which is, saves them a headache, which we all love. We love saving headaches. And this will allow for that time frame to be cut even in half, because the form is already filled out. If they had the same job, everything's the same. They don't have to do anything else but, submit. But if they change address, maybe that's the only thing they need to update. Right. And again, you need to send that same template over and over again so that autofill option is available. And we all want that available. But the very first
need to
time,
make sure that you select the option for it to be pre-filled for every single question.
Right. And I believe by default it is like that, but maybe you don't want
Yes,
it like
I
that
think
for
so.
certain questions. You don't want the same answer to be filled, right? There's probably very specific questions for that. And also you have the option, notice that first and last name has a little red star next to it. That means it's a required question. You can also manipulate if it's a required or not required question. So that's really, really important to understand.
Another another new feature that has been added recently, if it is an organizer that you're asking for documents to be uploaded, you can select a specific folder for those documents to go to. Otherwise, the client will get to choose what folder the documents are going to.
Yep, exactly. You can specify a specific folder or just have them go do it on that one folder that I mentioned they have visibility and editability on. Now, if you're interested in looking at how this looks like, how's this going to look like for the client? Katie, can you show us how to preview this in case you do want to do a quick preview? There's a
Absolutely.
button there on the right called preview. Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
you're in the right place on the upper right hand
Yep.
corner. There it
Yep.
is.
So upper right hand corner, you can go ahead and click preview. This is what it's going to look like to your clients. And remember how I said that there's different sections. So they will go ahead and fill out that first section. If you click next, they will see that second section. And if they click next again, they'll see that third section. When I was mentioning what the impact versus the conditions, they can be through different sections. So a question in section 1 can impact something in section 3. So your impact question has to be before your conditions, the one with conditions, but it can be in different sections of your organizer. They don't have to be in the exact same section.
Yeah, so for example, if you click on the back button there, we already saw all of the sections, but if you say that you are married, go ahead and select married, then you have this question that popped up, right? So that's all conditions are. You say if they say yes or no or married or single, then answer this other set of questions. If not, then omit it, right? So that's the beauty of these smart organizers that they you set them up accordingly. You can use these conditions yourself and set up these unique items. But if you're like, well, I want to use the pre-made stuff because I don't want to deal with it, I want the form to be already smart, then great. Use one of our templates. They're free. They're in our library. Copy as many as you'd like, explore them, see how they work, send them to yourself, test it. That's the best way to go about making sure that your client experience is what you want it to be. Test and test with yourself, send it to your team members, and come back and edit the questions how you would like. All right,
And just
perfect.
know that organizers can become very robust. You can, as you learn and as you want to use organizers more to help organize everything, you're able to add tags based off of answers, which is super helpful um, as you grow in a firm and as you need that extra organization of each client.
Yeah, exactly. So if somebody selects married, they're going to have to fill out the spouse section. But also, you can say, if they say married, I want you to tag the account married so that I know which accounts are my married couples, right? So
Yes.
that's really, really awesome that you can trigger that with an answer. Right. So all of those options are available in the little cog wheels that you see on the right, and you can modify that as you wish.
While you may not be able to add an Excel sheet directly, you can go through and add um, let me find, oh, I'm sorry, it's right in front of my face. You can add a text block and you can add a link to an Excel sheet that they can go ahead and download to use to fill out and then have a link for them to upload it, or they can upload it later to their documents. This is something that I have done. It is super helpful because, as was mentioned in one of these questions, they don't want to fill out question by question by question of their expenses, it's a lot easier for them to just list it in an Excel spreadsheet. So that is the workaround for that, is to use a text box and have a link to the Excel sheet template that you want them to use.
Great. I love that that suggestion to add links on there and have them download, fill in, and re-upload. That's excellent because you might need those kinds of scenarios, right? Maybe even for your, bookkeeping processes. You can have an organizer with just like 3 questions with that form that needs to be filled out, and things like that. I mean, you can use organizers not only for tax purposes. You can create like 5 question organizers, 10 question organizers, 50 question organizers for your more in-depth services that you provide. It's all up to you. TaxDome is, again, a big template that you can modify so that it fits your business needs. And, it's just going to make things so much faster and better to tailor all of this information for your business. So thank you so much for your input. In this, Katie, it's super helpful that you're giving all of these tips, because you actually have built many, many of these before. That's if I am not correct, right? You mentioned to me before that you have built very, very robust organizers. So
Yes.
it's really helpful for you to provide these tips for us today.
And for everybody here today, just please know that the first week of June, we will be having an advanced boot camp where you will be learning a lot more in-depth information about how to use TaxDome to your advantage.
Yes, thank you so much for providing those details. Please sign up for that so we can give you more details. But for tomorrow, we'll map out more delivery processes in our pipeline. We'll integrate not only the organizer that we just showed you, but we'll talk about how to set up the first couple of stages, how conditions work, so you have a way better grasp on that, because you have to have already tags set up for setting up conditions, right? We'll also talk about e-signatures and things like that, and how to maybe lock some invoices to signatures. So all that good stuff is going to be covered tomorrow, and I look forward to everybody joining us tomorrow as well. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining today. I know we expanded just a little bit, but we wanted to get more information to you about organizers, and we'll get more in depth tomorrow, and we'll really get our hands dirty and start building out these pipelines, because we already have the basics here on how to edit templates. We got to get our hands dirty and start building these out. Okay, so thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you on the next session.